This is my 21.5 inch iMac. I can't remember what year it's from now, about 2008 I think. But it was one of the first iMacs to have a full HD display, and I've had it in the house for years and I've not done anything with it, and I knew the display was absolutely fine, so I thought that's such a waste. So I have stripped out the innards, as you can see, which wasn't that difficult to do. You just need the right screwdrivers. So iFixit can help you with that, or any screwdrivers that have the correct Torx size. But as you can see, once you take everything out, it's a fairly empty shell. There's a few extra things I could have taken out. I've left the speakers in, mainly because I'd swithered about maybe converting something and getting a little soundboard or doing something. But I'll need to learn how to solder for that, but I haven't done that yet. So I've kept the speakers in, and actually they're quite good because they'll support everything as well. But really you've got an empty shell now, and there's plenty of space here in this. It's quite a sort of deep curve. And then there's the hole for the power cable. And there's also the hole, as you can see here, that I've left open from the RAM slot. So what I'm actually going to do now is just head over to the other part of the room. Please excuse the mess, by the way. There's quite a lot of stuff lying around. So here I go. And here we have the display, which is a really nice display actually. Hello, in my reflection. So I did an AliExpress special and got one of these control boards. And this particular one has HDMI and VGA connections, audio plugged in, the 12 volt 5 amp power supply, but there are two cables on the back of this particular display that need to be plugged in. So the extra little board down there is for the backlight. So the cables that come out the back of the panel, there's this little cable here which has got this little adapter on it, and you just plug it straight in. I think it's a 6-pin. Yeah, 6-pin. And it can only fit in that way. You can see the little black plastic section here. And then you've obviously got the main display cable itself, which I'll just move some of this out of the way. Don't want to scratch the screen, but that's under there. I'll show you that in a second. But really, that's all you have to do. So I'll be back in a tick. Okay, so this is the old display cable that was in, that I don't need anymore. But this is the correct orientation. So when you get the new cable, you'll see on the back of it there's a sort of solid metal bar, and the one with the pins on the front is obviously the way that you stick into the actual connection, like this. So in this one you can see it pretty easily. It has a similar solid metal band on the back, and you can see that this red wire here is on the right hand side. Just be careful when you're pushing it in. It's quite a thin space, so just line it up correctly and be very gentle with that. I might keep this black tape on, but I might just use a piece of black electrical tape to tape over the top of this so it doesn't move when I put it into the case. There's a couple of little extra wires here that I don't need, so I don't know what I'll probably just tape them actually with electrical wire and get them out of the way. There's this little one up here, I'll just detach that. It's not required. And that's it. You just plug in that. So the backlight, the actual display, and then your little board. And then you just need to decide where you're going to put it in the case. So once I've decided what to do, I'll show you that. Okay, well, I've hooked it up. As you can see, it looks really great. I was a bit worried about the brightness because I know that some people have done this and the brightness maybe wasn't as great as they remembered. On this particular panel, or these older 21.5 inch iMacs, I don't see any, and that's only actually at 50% brightness on the controller, so I don't know how much brighter it gets, but that's really, it looks really nice. So I've connected an HDMI, well, it's got 3 sockets on it. I'm going to have this actually coming out the back of the display, or maybe I'll have it at the RAM door or something, I don't know yet. But If I connect this, then it means then I can connect more than one device at the same time if I need to. And then I've got the 12 volt 5 amp power supply. This is a really long cable, so I'm going to put the box of this inside the case. And that just connects here. And actually I'll probably extend an audio cable from this as well, so that I can plug in external speakers if I need to from this. I'll more than likely just use whatever device I plug into it for the audio and take the audio out of that, because I don't think you can, there's a wee bit of a hiss. It's okay, but if you turn the volume up too high, you definitely get a wee bit of a hiss. But you had to turn it up quite high to notice that, actually, because I've got one of these boards on an old laptop display from an old MacBook Pro, which I can show you as well, actually. But these are a lifesaver, because what a waste of things. Imagine putting that in landfill. That would be horrendous. What a waste. So now I've got a nice 1080p display, and the board and the power adapter together with delivery to the UK, and that's including 20% that they add on with AliExpress, was £26. So the board on its own actually was really cheap. It was only like 13, I can't remember, less than £15 for just the board. So if you have a power supply in the house, then you don't need to get that. But I didn't have a 5 amp one, I only had 12 volts 3 amps, and I don't think that's enough. I think if you use that, the brightness definitely won't be as good. So yeah, there we are. Okay, well, I've connected the HDMI splitter here, and I've just, actually these little channels here were perfect. I've just taped the cable down with electrical tape, and that's outside the back of this end. So I'll be able to affix that to the back and have 3 HDMI ports coming out that way. I'll maybe turn it, well, I'll decide. But there's room for manoeuvre, basically. What was the other thing? And I've got the power cable channeled round here. And that actually was perfect here as well. And these little cable routers worked really great. And that's coming out there as well. So both of those things are outside, which isn't absolutely ideal, but certainly a lot better than it might have been. Alright, so I've prepared the back of the monitor. The 2 little extra cables that were on here, you could take them out. That one was just sitting in, and that was a ribbon cable that unhooked. Now, one thing I will say that I didn't say before is, not every iMac has the same panel on it. So what you need to do is, once you've opened the case, you need to look up this number here. So the number, the one that you want, is the LM20, the 215WF3, and mine happened to be the SLA1 model. But that's the model that you put in an AliExpress when you're looking for your controller board. And you'll notice, I'll leave a link in the description, but you'll notice that there's quite a few different kinds, even made by LG or whatever. So you'll need to get the correct number, because the boards are made specifically for the panel. So what I've done here is I've taken a piece of black electrical tape and prepared it, because once I plug the cable in here, I'll take this off and use it to stick that on. The old tape wasn't that great, so I just cut it off. So yeah, now I'll go and connect it into the actual shell. Well, that's the iMac shell. Now a monitor. I've still got some final pieces of work to do to finish up on the back with the controls and the power and stuff like that. But everything is back in the case, no problemo at all. Really happy with how it's turned out. There's no speakers built into this, so I was playing some games just to test it on the PS4 Pro, and just use some headphones. But I think if I'm going to use it as some sort of TV or whatever, I'll probably just plug in external speakers. But yeah, really chuffed with that.